Hello, it's Steven with Little Stingers Honey. It is first day of March. And bees are really active. So today, my goal is I'm going to take those white, see those little white things, right? I'm seeing my finger there, that little white spot right there. That closes the bottom of the hive. So I'm going to open that up. I've looked at the weather. We got at least a week of no more freezing temperatures. Probably more, but I don't have any gear on. So I'm going to be very careful. I'm going to talk a little quieter. Look at all that sugar. It's all hard sugar. Alright, let's get the next one. Ants. Ooh, this one's wet. That's not good. I mean, it's got wet inside the hive. And then this one is stuck. Hopefully this one doesn't attack me because I'll make noise. Yeah, there's bees everywhere on that one. I'm going to walk away. If you notice, that's an old campaign sign. Man, those are awesome to use. I cut those and I put those in the bottom of the hive. That closes up that screen that's at the bottom. So now air will flow through. And that one was wet, which isn't good. It means there's a lot of water in the hive. And one of the biggest killers of bees is water. I talked about it in class, about condensation, how condensation builds up in the hive and it rains inside the hive. But anyway, whoa, just hit my head. I didn't expect that. Okay, leave my face alone. I think I'll head back inside as he's still buzzing my head. That dead tree's got a story. That's my Christmas tree. I left it outside till all the branches die so I can use that as kindling for my smoker. Today, my main goal is to feed them. So when I feed them, I get a big jar of water. Okay, so I get a big jar of water and I start boiling it. Well, not quite boiling, because it's really hot. You really don't want it to boil. So I'm going to wait for that to get hot. Actually, I'm going to put a couple more of those in there and wait for that to get hot. Okay, so water's cooking, warming. By the way, this might go green and all. His name's Blue. For those of you who didn't know I had one. Now back to my messy car. So this is my work table. It's been winter, so I've just kind of let things pile up. My goal is to clean this off today and get ready to start working. But anyway, this is my sugar. I now buy sugar in 25-pound bags. And I like to watch the show Moonshiners. I always feel like, I always wonder why somebody's going to ask me if I'm making moonshine. I'm not. Okay. Sorry I'm getting you dizzy. I'm trying to do this. Okay, so I poured 2 of these of sugar. And here in a minute, once this starts steaming, it's still going. It takes a while to heat this much water. I'll pour those in. So it's 1 of these of sugar and 1 of these of water. So it's called 1-to-1. 1 part sugar, 1 part water. And the reason why I mix it that way is it helps build comb. This time of year they need to build comb, which I have pretty good lot of comb from years past, so that's not too much of a problem. And so they don't need it for comb, then they'll start using it as regular food. I just realized there's something dark in that. Looks kind of like a mold or something. That's not good. I might give them to the bees anyway. They like to they clean themselves. Anyway, earlier when I was outside looking at the hives, and I told you that bee was hitting me in the head, it wasn't trying to sting me. I got close to their hive, and that's their hive, and they didn't like it. So they were just, what they'll do is they'll bump you with the front of their head, not their tails, not where the, well, they don't have tails, but not where the stinger is. They bump me in the head. There's one just right by my ear again. So these are what they call orientation flights. These are brand new bees, just born, or just coming out of the hive for the first time. And they call orientation flights. They fly around and they bump into things and look around. They're mapping out their surroundings. So, you know, kind of like when you go somewhere new and you got to figure out your way around town, they got to figure out their way around. So they're orienting themselves around the flying. So there's a lot of them right now. They go in every which direction. They'll come up by me and stuff because they don't know where they're going. And a bee will come up and they'll bonk you with their head. They'll run into you. And when they do that, that means get away. And that's what I did. I listened to what the bee said. The bee said get away. I got away. Okay, it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to sting you. It just means they don't like you there. I still have a bee flying around my head. But I'm not too worried about it because, like I said, it's orientation flight. They're trying to figure out their way. They don't know if I'm a pole or if I'm a human or what. But anyway, I will be back once that water heats up and show you the rest of the process. Okay, so I'm zoomed in. That's why they look so big. So that's working. I have other things I can do. With beekeeping, you're always busy. And it's getting into one of the busiest times of the year for me. So the next thing I'm going to do is get the feeders ready. Where I'm going to put the sugar water, okay? I got to find them. I don't see them. I have one in the hive already. There they are. They're at the bottom right there. So I got to move all this stuff. Try to do it with one hand. Keep you on the phone. I might set you down. Hang on a minute. So this is one of my feeders. And what it is just a box with a plastic insert. Okay? Now it came stapled, and I pulled the staples off. Long story. I shouldn't have. But anyway. See this net right here? The bees cannot get through that. But they can get fed through it. So what they do is, I'm going to turn this around. This is the bottom side of it. They go in here, and I'm going to turn the camera sideways just so, sorry. See how they can see through it? So the bees crawl up into this hole, and that's where they get their sugar water. So this is one type of feeder I have. It's not my favorite, but I can't find any of these anymore. My favorite is this one. And I can't find, the company that made it went out of business. Basically, they decided to open a bunch of stores, and they opened too fast, and they overwhelmed and closed their doors. But what this is, same philosophy. I'm going to have to tilt it to get this out. Kind of the same philosophy. So on this one, you can see, still have a hole in the middle, okay? But the key to it is this wood is shorter than the other wood. So the bees go over the top of it. And on this one, you have floats. See? And what these do is they float on top of the water, on top of the sugar water. So when I put these in, the bees will come up over the top and they'll sit on top of this. And these will float up with the sugar water, and they can sit on top of this and eat. I think I can feed more bees this way, and they seem to do well. The biggest thing on these is make sure these are good and clean, because otherwise one of those gets stuck and they're too far down, then the bees will drown. But as long as you take care of it, you'll be fine. You just got to watch what you're doing. So those are two of my feeders. Have another feeder out inside the hives. I'll show you later. Okay, so the water's getting hot, so I'm going to get me a wooden spatula. I actually have my little bee spatula. This would be mine. On the back side, it has all the measurements. For those who can't remember their measurements, I can't always either. Well, it won't zoom in. There it goes. All your conversions and everything. Okay, so I don't know if I can do this with one hand, but I'm going to try. First, we just pull a bunch of sugar in there. Okay? That's one of three. And then you just hear it mix. See how it's cloudy? As it starts to blend into the water will turn clear again. In fact, it turned clear pretty quick. It's turning more and more clear. You may not see it yet, but it is. My over the stove light's burned out, so I can't turn the light on very well. But I can still feel the sugar in it. So then I'm going to leave this and let it get hot a minute. Because, you know, we've been studying thermal energy in 6th grade. And we've been talking about weather and stuff. And 7th, a lot to do with thermal energy. So, as this is heating, right, it's getting hotter and hotter. And you see the steam coming off. So if I'm getting steam coming off, I'm about to boiling. Okay, I'm not quite there yet. Remember, water turns from water to a gas at about 212 degrees, give or take a little bit. So I'm getting close to 212 degrees. If I had a thermometer, I'd stick it in there and show it to you. But anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm letting this water come back to temperature. So once I put the sugar in, it cools it down. So I'm going to let it heat back up before I add any more sugar. So you can see the bottom now. See? So it's perfectly clear now. It just looks like water. So this is what's called sugar water. You don't only use it for bees, you can also use it for hummingbird feeder. Which I have hummingbirds. I feed my hummingbirds. I haven't gotten them out yet. It's too early in the year. And there's a big pile of sugar right in the middle. I don't know if you can see it where I poured it in. Now I can't feed this to the bees hot, so after I do all this, it's got to cool down. So what I like to do is I'll throw a little bit of ice in there, help cool it down faster. And remember in science class, does the ice cool the water, or does the water heat the ice? We talked about it in class. So I think we did in 6th, I think we did in 7th too. Remember that when you put ice in a soda, the ice is not cooling the soda. The ice is pulling the heat out of the soda. Alright. And those don't believe me, you can Google it. Alright, I'm going to put you down a minute. I'm going to fill one of those more sugar, my 25 pounds of sugar. Alright. Okay, so what I did is I took it off that burner, which is still hot, and I put it over here. You see, ice will eventually start cooling it down. It's going to take a long time for this to cool down. I can't put too much ice in it, because the more ice I add, then that means the more I've watered down my sugar. So this is apple cider vinegar, okay? And I'm going to put just a little in there. You don't want a lot. I usually say about a capful. About like that. And what that does is it helps stop any kind of mold or anything growing or mildew in the water. So when I leave this in the hive, if they don't eat it right away, which I'm expecting all of this to be gone within about 2 days, we'll find out. But this time of year, you can't really feed them too much. But anyway, you can see the ice is about melted. So I put that in there to help cut down the mold and anything that might grow in there as it sits and doesn't get eaten. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video now, and I will make a part 2 when I put this in my hive. Basically what I'm going to do, that won't be on camera, is I'm going to take this and I'm going to pour it back into those jars. I should have 6 of those jars. Okay? My one feeder, well, I'll end up using about 8, so I'll have to make more. But I stopped there because that was the end of that bag of sugar. I have another 25 pounds in the garage. But anyway, over and out from Little Stinger's Honey. I'll do a part 2. I'll show you me putting it in the hive. But it's going to be a little while before this gets cooled off. So, see you later.